Europe has no idea what's coming, but Chelsea fans just got their first warning. Andrey Santos didn't introduce himself with flashy skills or viral highlight moments. He introduced himself with something far more dangerous: control, presence, and authority. In a single performance, he delivered 42 precise passes, 81% accuracy, 7 duels won, 4 interceptions, 4 clearances, and 4 recoveries. These weren't just statistics. They were proof of a midfielder playing like he belonged at the heart of Chelsea's system. Santos pressed with the hunger of a player trying to reclaim everything that was once doubted about him. Yet he moved with the calmness of a veteran, showing an understanding of the game far beyond his age. Every touch was clean, every decision smart, every moment confident. And in just 90 minutes, he changed the conversation around him completely. This wasn't a kid trying to survive Premier League football. This was a player ready to take his spot by force. Chelsea fans online immediately called him man of the match, praising his dominance and composure. If this is Santos at the beginning, Europe needs to pay attention. Chelsea may have just unlocked a future midfield powerhouse, and this performance was only the first warning.
But Andrey Santos really ran the show today. A man-of-the-match performance that was. He had an absolute phenomenal game.
Others are calling it the best performance of Andrey Santos's young Chelsea career. A night where he didn't just step up, he took over. Fans say he fully deserved man of the match, dominating the midfield with maturity far beyond his age. He controlled the game, broke up play, and moved the ball with total confidence. Some even joked he gave Caicedo the rest he needed, because Santos handled everything himself. A statement performance, a warning to Europe.
Yeah, he played a pivotal role in this game today, in terms of breaking the play up, in terms of ensuring that he was the last line of protection.
The same player who bounced from loan to loan, who battled through Brazil, France, and Premier League setbacks, who became just another name in football's most expensive waiting room. That player is suddenly showing flashes of Chelsea's next great midfielder. Some fans are calling him the modern Eshin. Others say he's the box-to-box engine Chelsea have been missing for years. But the truth goes deeper than numbers or one impressive performance. This moment is the result of a long, painful road that most people never saw. The constant moving, the doubts, the fight to stay relevant, the determination to return stronger every single time. And when Chelsea finally needed someone to step up, he delivered with a statement performance that felt bigger than just 90 minutes. It felt like the arrival of a player who's no longer waiting for a chance, but ready to take one and never let it go.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here in Chelsea in the Premier League. So you know that big competition for me is the most hard in the world. It's so hard to play the Premier League, and I'm so happy to come back here with my adaptation in the Premier League.
Europe doesn't realize it yet, but a storm is forming in London. Not the kind that announces itself with fireworks, headlines, or price tags. No, this one has been building quietly, far from the spotlight, shaped by rejection, loans, setbacks, and silence. And now, after Andrey Santos stepped onto the Premier League stage with a performance that felt like a message, the football world has no choice but to start paying attention. Because this story isn't about hype. It isn't about one match. It's about a young man who spent years in football's most expensive waiting room, finally stepping out. Not with noise, but with undeniable presence. Many fans want to believe this is his breakthrough. Others think it's just a chapter, another temporary rise in a long, unpredictable career. But what happened at Turf Moor was more than a performance. It was the culmination of a journey that started in a place where dreams rarely survive long enough to become reality. A journey that began in a small community inside Rio de Janeiro where football is hope, escape, and oxygen. To understand why Andrey Santos walked onto that pitch with such hunger, why he played with the authority of someone who refused to let the moment slip, why Chelsea fans are calling him man of the match, saying he bossed the midfield like he owned the turf, we have to go back to the beginning, to a childhood shaped not by academies and scouting networks but by an unexpected problem. He was 4 years old, overweight, shy, and quiet. His grandmother, Swaley, worried about his health, enrolled him in futsal not to build a footballer, but simply to help him lose weight. No one imagined that those tiny indoor courts, with their fast touches and tight spaces, would become his football DNA. The close control, the awareness, the one-touch decision-making, the anticipation that defines him today, it all started there. By 7, Andrey had outgrown the local courts. His talent, raw but undeniable, caught the attention of Vasco da Gama, one of Brazil's great football institutions. The same academy that shaped Felipe Coutinho, Douglas Luiz, Alex Teixeira. For his family, struggling to find stability, Vasco became more than a football club. They fed him. They educated him. They offered him structure, hope, and direction. Years later, Andrey Santos would say, "I finished my entire formation at Vasco. They gave me everything. Food, education, and the man I am today." He rose through the academy faster than anyone expected. Pushed constantly into older age groups, forced to survive against boys bigger and stronger. But he never folded. He adapted, learned, and evolved. By 2022, he wasn't just a prospect. He was the prospect. Vasco were trapped in Brazil's second division, fighting desperately for promotion. And their manager, Zé Ricardo, made a bold, almost reckless decision. He put an 18-year-old at the heart of the midfield. Not to protect him, not to build him slowly, but to depend on him. Week after week, home and away, pressure or not, Andrey Santos played. 33 league matches, 8 goals from midfield, countless defensive actions, and a leadership presence far beyond his age. On June 7, 2022, he became the youngest goalscorer in Vasco's history. But the goals weren't what made Brazil look twice. It was his engine, his timing, his ability to read danger before it happened. Fans compared him to Casemiro, Michael Essien, Jude Bellingham, not because of hype, but because of what he was doing on the pitch. And just months later, he led Brazil's U-20 team to the South American Championship. Captain, joint top scorer, best player of the tournament. The defining moment, a towering header in the final against Uruguay that sealed the title. By then, Europe was watching. Chelsea, however, were already ahead. On January 6, 2023, they announced the signing of Andrey Santos for £12.5 million. He flew to London, posed for the photos, walked through Stamford Bridge, and then didn't stay. 1 point short of the Premier League work permit requirement, one single point, meant he had to return to Brazil. He had been bought, but not allowed to play. Signed, but not registered. A Chelsea player, but still in limbo. Modern football can be cruel like that. After the U-20 championship and more performances for Vasco, he earned a loan move to Nottingham Forest. He said it was his dream to play in the Premier League. And in a way, he did for 19 minutes at Anfield. That was all Forest gave him. 2 appearances in 4 months. Forest wasn't the problem. The system was. Chelsea had 43 players out on loan that season, spread across 14 countries. A market value of £248 million scattered across the world. It was the infamous Blueco model. Buy young talent, loan it out, hope it grows or appreciate in value. For some players, it works. For others, it becomes a footballing purgatory. For Andrey, it was both an opportunity and a trap. Chelsea recalled him in January. 26 days later, he was sent out again. This time to Strasbourg, Chelsea's new development partner. Another loan, another country, another new system. But this time, finally, something clicked. Patrick Vieira, a legend of the Premier League midfield, trusted him, praised his maturity, played him consistently. 11 appearances, 1 game-winning goal. League One Young Player of the Month. Chelsea extended his loan for another full season. Under new manager Liam Rosenior, he exploded. 32 appearances, 10 goals, 3 assists, top 10 performer in League One, captain at age 20. The youngest captain Strasbourg had fielded in 75 years. 3 countries, 3 leagues, 3 systems, and he mastered all of them. Yet the question remained, where does he fit at Chelsea? They had spent £106 million on Enzo Fernandez, £115 million on Moises Caicedo, £58 million on Romeo Lavia, £30 million on Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, £329 million on midfielders. So where does a £12.5 million Brazilian fit into that equation? June 25, 2025, 943 days after signing for Chelsea, he finally made his debut. Not in the Premier League, but the Club World Cup. A small appearance, a small step, but a step nonetheless. He played in the League Cup, scored in the League Cup, made cameos in the Premier League, but no starts, no trust, no real opportunity, until Burnley, until the moment everything changed. Chelsea had Barcelona in 3 days. Arsenal in 9. Caicedo needed rest. Lavia was injured. And Enzo Maresca looked at his bench, at the miles of training footage, at the player who had survived everything and said, "You're in." Turf Moor. November 22nd, 2025. A freezing afternoon. A hostile ground. A must-win match. Burnley came out swinging, long balls, physical duels, chaotic transitions. Chelsea struggled to breathe, let alone control the match. And in the middle of that storm, Andrey Santos stood firm. His first major contribution, a heavy block inside 6 minutes. Then interception after interception. Duels won. Second balls recovered. Calm passing under pressure. Chelsea finally scored before halftime. A brilliant diving header from Pedro Neto. But Burnley kept coming. And this is where the young Brazilian showed why his journey mattered. He wasn't just playing football. He was fighting for everything he had been denied. By the end of the match, his numbers told the story. 42 passes, 81% accuracy, 7 duels won, 2 tackles, 4 interceptions, 4 clearances, 4 recoveries, 1 blocked shot, 16 defensive contributions. He didn't just survive. He controlled. He imposed. He proved he belonged. Even more telling, Chelsea didn't miss Moises Caicedo. Not for 1 second. Then came the praise. Enzo Fernandez. He was unbelievable. The fight he had in the middle, the control. We need players like this. Fans online. Man of the match. Bossed the midfield. World-class performance. Gave Caicedo the rest he needed. But here's the truth. This match wasn't a coronation. This wasn't the arrival of Chelsea's next great midfielder. This was a young man doing exactly what was asked of him. In a specific tactical scenario. Against a specific opponent. While the spotlight temporarily moved away from the £115 million player he deputizes for. Barcelona and Arsenal would be different challenges entirely. And yet, maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is that after years of waiting, moving, adapting, and fighting, Andrey Santos finally showed he can deliver at the highest level. He answered the question that had followed him since the day he signed. Can he play for Chelsea? Yes, he proved it. But here comes the bigger question, the one Chelsea must answer now. Will they give him the chance to keep proving it? Because Europe should be paying attention. Not because he's the next Eschen or the next Case Moreau or the next anyone. But because he is the first Andrey Santos, a midfielder who earned everything the hard way, who survived football's coldest system, who learned 3 leagues in 3 countries, and who finally showed Chelsea what they've had all along. And now, the only question left is this. Will Chelsea finally unlock him? Or let another generational talent slip through their fingers? What do you think? Has Andrey Santos just started his Chelsea era? Or is this only a glimpse of a future that the club may never fully trust?